Hello guys, welcome to another one of Roy's computer tips and tricks. I just wanted to make a follow-up video on Windows 11 as I kind of left something hanging there on the TPM and what was required for Windows 11. And it looks like the two biggest upgrades to the requirements are, of course, number one, and this one's probably going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people with older computers, is the requirement for a TPM or a trusted platform module. And this is a chip, and what it does is it stores security keys for encryptions. So like BitLocker, other security software, that kind of thing, that's where that is stored. It does other things, but that's the basic function of it. It adds more security to your computer. It allows you to do BitLocker and stuff. And that's one thing you should be aware of as well is if you have a TPM or you get a TPM for your computer and you have a Windows that supports BitLocker, I've seen a lot of Windows users complain after they got a new computer like they needed a hard drive replaced and BitLocker was automatically enabled. There is a way to disable it from your Microsoft account, but just FYI, with more security, there's going to be a little bit more hassle with some things like BitLocker. Um, so TPM is required for Windows 11. That's the first big thing. The second big thing is the big jump in graphics requirements, and that's probably due to the HDR auto upscaling and whatnot that they're trying to implement into Windows 11 that is already part of the Xbox, which will bring Windows to more of an Xbox related thing. And on my screen here I have um, Tom's Hardware talking about TPM chips, and we're going to go over that and how to check and see if you have one. And then I'll go over what I did for my desktop computers later on. But anyways, with graphics, it's required that you have a graphics card that supports DirectX 12, which Windows 10 only required 9. So we went, 3 generations there of graphics card requirements for DirectX. As a jump, which is going to be pretty big for those of you that aren't gamers. If you have an older computer, if you have a newer one, chances are it supports DirectX 12. DirectX 12 was pretty standard, like 2013-ish, so it's been coming along. But I mean, with the shortage of GPUs and silicone, boards and that sort of thing, it's going to be an issue. If everyone's trying to go out and upgrade their graphics card. As a lot of gamers right now are trying to upgrade our graphics cards, and we can't just because they're not available. They're super overpriced. Um, but anyways, TPM chip is the biggest thing, and if you have a desktop computer, chances are you have the pins for it. Um, well, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. What I wanted to do is go over how to check and see if you have one. So the first thing I would recommend would actually just be the Windows compatibility check. That is what I, provided a link for in my other video yesterday. I will add the link again, which is here, the PC, from Tom's Hardware. I'll supply this link too. But you can do the Windows PC health check, and you can also ask that to see if you're Windows 11 compatible. If you have a TPM chip, if you have a graphics card that supports this, if you have the other requirements are really easy to meet. I mean, even like a 5-year-old computer could meet the rest of the requirements. So it's really just those two big things you got to look out for. But this will automatically check and see if you have those things and let you know your PC is compatible. If you have BitLocker already, or you have a PC that requires a little more security for your business, or something more that related, chances are your computer is compatible. But I would say the easiest way is to run that PC health check. If you don't want to download more software to your computer, though, you can do this, which we're going to do that really quick. So Windows R, we're going to say tpm.msc. And see, it says TPM cannot be found. It's because this computer does not have a TPM module. It does have the pins, and I just need to get the little board. And because of the silicone shortage, again, the TPM modules are in relatively short supply. If you have a desktop computer, you plan on upgrading your TPM module, I would start with going to your manufacturer and getting your motherboard's manual. So I'm going to go and show you this particular motherboard that is in this computer. And what I did, and I'm going to back up here to the home page of the manual. So when I opened it, So this is the motherboard that's in here. It's an MSI Z270 X-Power Gaming Titanium. Pretty expensive board when I bought it. I bought it to run, a bunch of graphics cards, of course, for mining at the time. And I did use it for that for a while. It's pretty fancy board, but it did, even this board, several $100 board did not come with a TPM module. It has the slot, but it doesn't have the module. So I did, Control F, search for TPM, go next. Couple things that you need to pay attention to. I don't know about other manufacturers, but I noticed with MSI there's two TPM modules that they offer, and as far as I can tell, the biggest difference is the amount of pins. It looks like they are either a 14 pin or a 12 pin. As you can see, this board would require the 14 pin module. So if you go over here, see MSI, they have the 4462 module, which is a 12 pin module, and then they have the 4136 module, which is a 14 pin module. Now it says down here this is for a 300 series motherboard, which this board is a 200 series, X270. However, when I pulled up this particular TPM module from other retailers like Amazon and looked at the reviews, there were people as far back as like the 80 series Intel that had successfully installed this module and it worked and they were able to enable BitLocker. Back then, that was the reason why they bought the chip, is because they had a BitLocker requirement probably for some business enterprise they were doing or something else, and or there actually were some gamers that I saw on there that needed a TPM to go to LAN parties, which a lot of us haven't gone to a LAN party in so long. We we haven't needed that, but apparently in their city or the LAN party place they were going to required the TPM chip for this extra layer of security for their computers, and so they were able to buy one and it worked. And I saw people update that they successfully installed it on 80, 90, 100, 200 series Intel boards, and it worked fine. So that is backwards compatible. And like I said, the biggest difference I saw, at least with MSI, is there's a 12 pin and a 14 pin. And actually, all of my boards use the 14 pin. But like I said, there's a bit of a shortage of these. And you can see even CDW doesn't have it. It's back ordered. They're not that expensive. And depending on your motherboard manufacturer, do a little bit of research, look at your manual, see. And if you have a TPM chip already, like say a laptop, maybe it's just disabled. So you can go into your BIOS, you can enable it. Of course, mine is disabled in the BIOS because it physically doesn't exist. And enabling it won't do anything because it physically doesn't exist, so that's not going to help me. But in the case of laptops, some laptops might have it and it's disabled. So, you can run that little MSI or TPM.MSC. Maybe it'll say, hey, TPM is present, but it disabled. You can go into BIOS and enable it. But be very, very careful. I wouldn't recommend most of these things unless you know what you're doing and you can get into your computer and you can do that without harming it. If you have someone that is a hardware expert that can walk you through the process or that can do it for you, that of course would be better. And this is very much cheaper than buying a new PC. So I'm going to watch these, hopefully that they come back in stock. Hopefully the one that I did find that is super overpriced comes down. And I would say, probably into next year, there's going to be a run on these things as people realize that, hey, all I need to do is go out and buy a TPM chip. I don't need, to buy a whole new computer, because really the rest of the requirements for Windows 11, almost any computer can do it. It's just, the better graphics card, which you already have if you're a gamer, and then, of course, the TPM chip, which I guess if you're a gamer that goes to LAN parties, probably already got that covered. And with that, that is my update for Windows 11 today. Hope that you found this video helpful. This is more regards to the Windows 11 requirements, what you need to do, what you can do. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for my videos. And hope this helped you in some way, and have a beautiful day.